Hi there, this is Kathy Crow here at the Crow Cottage, and today is so much cooler and nicer. I'm so glad. I shouldn't whine because actually the temperature, if I'd been living back in the Tri-City, still wouldn't have been that bad, but I've gotten spoiled being here. So speaking of spoiled, I also have been spoiled. That's my refrigerator. Sorry about the weird noises down here in the basement. It's like ice, coming through. Um, yeah, today's still a day for ice. I actually went out on a nice bike ride today. It was so nice, so pleasant, nice cool breeze. And anyway, I hope you're having a great day too. The stamps that I'm going to show today just reminds me of how much I need to stop whining. I'm going to put it down so you can see what's going on here because you can't even see the words love and courage. They're kind of important. This is a new set that's going to be available in September. I don't know if it's actually in the mini catalog or not. It might be, but I'm thinking there's something special about it. I didn't even look, but because it's a breast cancer awareness type deal, because there's the heart, the ribbon, and then it says, friends don't let friends fight cancer alone, and thank you for supporting me throughout my battle, and things like that. Now, those are things that I, really appreciate and all, but I probably won't be using those personally all that much because my experience hasn't been, that bad. For so many people, it's so much worse. So I'm not using those, but I am using these. And then for other people, of course, that are going through things, those might be good. I don't know, but they'd be good cards to give to people that, want to send cards to, who have been struggling with some kind of a health issue. Health issues really impact us crafters a lot because it seems like it's not a very physical activity, but when you're struggling just to lift your arm or to, with nausea and other things, or just to get out of bed, and fatigue and even depression can make a major, major issue. So for us all. So anyhow, this is a great set for that, but it might be an online exclusive, but I don't think it is. I think actually there's probably a campaign with it. So if you look in your mini catalog when you get it and find it, and you might not see it. I know it was on a page that I could have easily overlooked. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure I saw it in the catalog, and there's probably, some money going to a cancer research or breast awareness or something. I don't know because I like to give my money directly to people I know. And so I typically, Jeff and I don't support, big umbrella type philanthropic organizations because sometimes they're not philanthropic. And I don't know anything about what they're doing, but I don't need to, basically I just don't need to know. Ignorance is bliss so much of the time, isn't it? All right, I'm going to put the camera down. I am going to tell you about a bunch of things that are going on in the Stampin' Up! World. Eventually, I'll get to it. I don't know exactly when I'll get to it, but I will eventually. And let me get my lights going here. I know it's going to seem terribly, terribly bright for a minute, but I kind of need to do it this way to make it bright enough. And I did finally make my little label for the top. So if there's anyone with me who doesn't really know who I am and that I do have, this is a free website though that I'm using. So it actually doesn't look like this anymore. I did pay for it for a while to get my own name domain, but I don't do this enough to make any money to keep up a website. So that is now, since it's free, it's going to have a lot of other letters and numbers and all kinds of things like that in order but if you typed into Google Kathy Crow's cards and you just hunted a little bit, you know, you might have to put where I am in Springfield, Missouri. I don't know. Google searches, you know, are supposed to be really good, but I don't know that they always are. So, and actually, I'm going to go ahead and say I don't have a lot of confidence in those. So I tend to not use Google searches as a means of information. I will use them, but they definitely aren't my sole inspiration. Thank you. Thank you, God, for so many things that you give us that are so good. All right, the cards you're going to see this next week. These are ones that I haven't put out, but this is, I did the sunflower one that came this week. I did that video and showed that technique, I think, a couple of weeks ago. So I'm getting to move ahead again, which is nice. It's nice to be moving ahead rather than behind. I felt like a whole year or so I was behind all the time. So I did these two cards. This one was stamped first and then embossed. I'm not going to use that technique. I did it mainly just to see if my words will come through nice and clear still, that they can be seen, and they can be. Okay, so that was very good to know, but you need to make sure you're not using a 3D embossing folder, just a regular embossing folder, and then actually to make sure that the words were good. So I stamped this whole card. It's just all on Petal Pink. No, Flirty Flamingo. Is this Flirty? No, this is Petal Pink. And then I did Flirty Flamingo ink. But this is a shorter card because this is a scrap piece of Petal Pink I had that I wanted to use for this. And so I stamped, and then I embossed with this folder, which is Diamonds one that I thought looked sort of similar in shape to the ribbon. I did do a stamped off version of the ribbon and the heart, but these were just full strength, you know, stamps that I dipped in the ink and then did that. And then I did take afterwards, after I embossed it, I took my bone folder and using the side just gently straightened it out on those words. And if you wanted to do it here, you could too, if it wasn't, you know, strong enough impression, but it looked like it was going pretty good. So I didn't really worry about that at all. And I'm not going to do this method. I don't have a ton of time today. You're probably grateful. But Jeff is substituting today, so I had a little bit of time that I could do this. So I'm going to use, for this card, let me just tell you really quick, this is crushed curry, ink, and cardstock. I believe I tell you all that in the newsletter on Very Vanilla. And this is a nice braided twine. I bought a whole bunch of because I love it, and I do use it quite a lot, but I don't think it's available anymore, but I just don't know. Stampin' Up! Things come and go so fast that I gave up trying to keep track. I just can't. My brain can't hold that many things, and yeah, I just don't even bother. Now, one of the new things, I'm going to just show you really quick, even though I'm not doing this today. This is actually going to be several weeks out before I get to it, so I'm telling you now. The reason being, this is in the new catalog, okay? I'm not going to show you what I've made because I've already made my projects from this little tag set. And this is this die right here. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love it. It's so pretty. This is actually a poinsettia, but you could use it for other things too. It wouldn't have to just be a poinsettia, but it's a holiday, you know, thing. These are the dies that come with it. You get your backing, of course, so if you do a separate colored backing so you can see those poinsettias. Then you, for your layers, you get stripes, the poinsettias, and these pine needles. They're really pretty. And then this is a really nice little ribbon. And then this little tag is going to go here, and you can make a nice, you know, little layered separate color if you want to, but I actually will probably never use that little piece because it's so pretty even without it. But if you needed to reinforce the whole, then you would definitely want to use that. I'm showing this to you because I almost missed this in the catalog. It's so cool. And just because of where it's placed. So don't miss it. This one I suspect will sell out really fast, and if you want it, you're going to want to order it right away. And I wouldn't wait around. If you are already a demonstrator, I would get this ordered. Just saying. Now that is all. I'm not even going to go on any more about that, but I am excited about that for tags. If you don't care about tags because you never do them, then you will never need to know anything about that. Oh, I saved my little ribbon because I will do a video later after the newsletter comes out, or just hopefully a week before it goes out. That's kind of been handy to do that. All right, so Very Vanilla, I don't get you out all that often, but I have been stamping a ton with Very Vanilla in the last month, mostly just because I don't use it all that often, and I figured I probably should, but it also just happened to be coordinating with all my colors that I wanted to use really, really well. So we're gonna cut Very Vanilla in half at 5 1/2, and then again at 4 1/4, turning it that way, 4 1/4. And then I'm gonna go ahead and trim it down to the size that I'm gonna want, because this is gonna be my card front. I'm just going to be, this is very, very simple stamping today. Going to go real fast. I might want to use, actually I'm not going to trim it down yet, because my colors are going to be Lemon Lolly and Early Espresso. This is Lemon Lolly Ribbon, but the ink I'm going to actually be using is Daffodil Delight, because I think I'm going to need a darker ink. Now for my actual stamping, I am going to be mostly using Early Espresso, and we'll talk about that as we go. I'm going to do this card, and this card has one of my favorite, it's not an actual Bible verse, you know, I go online and look to see where I can find really good Bible verses, and I just found a place, I think it was an Etsy person, and they have some really good Bible verses that are not the standard ones that you normally see, so that are actual Bible verses, okay? This, though, even though it is not an actual Bible verse, I still really like it anyway, and I do use it quite a lot. I don't always want the flowers on, so sometimes I do, you know, get that out. Now, this is my little bin. I keep this right by my desk because those are some of my favorite Bible. I have probably 4 more, maybe 5 more bins that are in shelves, though. They're all stamps I can see on a shelf in my spare room back there, so that I can find, you know, quickly other Bible verses if I want to put a Bible verse on the inside. But this God Answers Prayer is so important to me with this stamp set, because my main word, hope, that I'm going to put on here, just, you know, anytime I ever stamp the word hope, it just reminds me of where my hope comes from, because my hope does not come in me just wishing things, because frankly, my wishing things doesn't make anything happen, right? I mean, it would be nice if it did sometimes, but thank God it doesn't, because I have wished many times for things that I ultimately was very grateful I didn't get. So Jeff just posted a Facebook thing that was really funny, and I really loved it, and I thought it was just so appropriate, which was this guy ranting on and on. And he was not really ranting, he was just kind of casually commenting on how, you know, I'm going to save these colors for later in the ribbon, because because I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to do both layers or not. But I am going to get out my little scrap paper here to stamp on. I kind of tested the water a little bit with what I'm going to do already. But anyway, the guy is talking about how he is, you know, what is it? I've forgotten now what it even is. He rambles on about how, you know, his wife loves to gossip to him. That was it. She loves to gossip to him because since most of the time he's not listening anyway, he never repeats any of it. I just thought that was so perfect and appropriate, and unfortunately true in many ways. But I am grateful for that, because there are many times that Jeff hears things that I don't really want anyone else to hear, and I shouldn't have said it in the first place, and then I'm so glad that he totally forgot about it. Okay, Early Espresso. This is pretty inky, so I'm going to be a little careful here. Now, I did a couple of ideas because I wanted to see how Early Espresso would stamp if I did a stamped off. So I stamped its full strength here and then stamped the stamped off version, which is fine for the flower, but I really didn't want the words that weak. And I actually think a marker is going to take care of the color on my petals pretty well. You know, this could be a little bit lighter in color, I suppose, but I really wanted the words to be really strong so they can be seen, because there's lots of words. Support, strength, heart, faith, resolve, fight, hope, courage, survivor, belief. I think those are great, and I love how it's juxtaposed with a flower. It's just real pretty. It's very artistic. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do full strength, but as you can see with my card, I want to make sure I have plenty of room for hope, and God answers prayer. And the thing is, this is a cling stamp. Now, cling stamps are going to be going away. I don't know if you've already heard, but you might have, as far as Stampin' Up! World is concerned. They are going to be discontinued starting, I believe, in the next year, you know, January on. They are going to be discontinued. And I'm sure some of the you know, stock that they have as far as other stamps that we've had might be diminishing. So if you really love cling stamps, you probably should get in there and buy them before they're gone. I don't know if there's going to be a run on them, but I suspect there will be a major run on them. So just letting you know in advance, I happen to really like cling stamps, but they are a challenge because I can't see through them and I can only just kind of guess. Sometimes the placement of my label onto it is not identical to the background. In fact, that's the case most of the time. So I have to kind of guess, and it also gets crooked. When you've got words, you really don't want it crooked at all. So that's a problem, you know. So I do really like the photopolymer ones, but the fact is that cling stamps give you much more detail, like significantly. So I am not thrilled with the idea that we won't have any, but I've already reconciled myself to it, and I'm fine with it. All right, so we're gonna get a baby wipe out here. It's a good thing I stuck my thumb into the early espresso ink right away so that I didn't have to, you know, try to fake it and not have, you know, because I always get ink all over myself anyway. And so now we have that ready to go for when that happens again. All right, I've been dilly-dallying because I'm a little nervous to get this on here, but I can always just use another piece of Very Vanilla if it doesn't work. So we're going to go ahead and ink this up. Isn't that beautiful? Now look at that. Always check to make sure your ink has covered everything really good, especially when you're doing words, because you get one pass with this. And I do want to make sure I have plenty of room to you know, I'm going to hope my words are nice and straight here. And I'm kind of checking the edges to see if I'm, you know, in enough this way and that way and so on and so forth. So we're going to go, I can actually err a little more on the top because I can cut, you know, one side here. I can cut one side or the other to try to even it up. Beautiful. Very nice. I could do another Very Vanilla one. Let's do another one just so that I can see if I really am going to want this. Because here's another idea that I haven't tried yet, but I think will work really well. And I can even use my wipe here to accomplish this. So I'm going to good thing that was a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to need this scrap because I'm going to ink this up again. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe away a lot of my petal color. In fact, I'm even going to get some of my center off because it was so dark. We're going to get a lot of that off. In fact, I'm going to take my finger now. I don't really want to do that too much. I actually got more ink off at the top. I think I will take my finger and just smush here a bit. Okay, now we're going to see what happens. But I did really want my words to be, you know, strong here. So we're going to go with this. And we'll see what this looks like and if I like it or not. It's good. I like it a lot. I didn't smush the sides because I wanted all those dots. It's actually quite nice. The words are still really strong. I'm glad of that. I'm going to go ahead and take this and do a preemptive wipe there because that's really dark ink. And before I do my chamois with it. Okay. And the other thing that I could have done, though, that might have actually been a little bit better is I could have No, I really couldn't have. When you have a Stamparatus, you have a whole lot of options. Stamparatus is where you can do the same stamp in exactly the same place over and over as many times as you want to. And it helps when you want weaker and stronger ink, you know, when you're using one stamp. But without that, because I was thinking I could have stamped off and then done it, but then my words wouldn't have. I would have had to. This one actually is pretty easy to just re-ink one side. So I could have done that. Should I show it to you? It wouldn't be hard to do. So all you would want to do in that case is you're going to take your flower like this and get the ink over the whole thing, okay? And then you're gonna use your scrap paper and stamp. Okay, so now you've stamped that all off. Well, now all you need to do, because the flower is pretty ready now to ink, but I need to get my words really nice and dark again. So I'm just using it on half to get that. And then we have a stamped off flower and nice strong words. Actually really like that. It's very pretty. The only thing is that you would have to color your center more if you did that method, but that actually works really good. So now I'm gonna have to clean my pad again. And I already threw away my baby wipes, so I will just sacrifice my Simply Chamois. I do wash these every time. You wouldn't know that I do, but I don't use detergent. I don't even use the stamp. I do use the Stampin' Mist to clean, you know, this regularly, because otherwise it's going to smell badly. But other than that, I don't do it every time. And that's probably why it looks really bad. All right, so now we're going to do this. So anyway, if you are waiting to see the new catalog and you need one, make sure you ask me if you would like to get one from me, because you do have to place an order in order to do that. And I would be happy to do that. That would be wonderful to give you a catalog. There are a lot of really cute things in the new one. I really am enjoying it. Now I want to put the word hope, but I don't necessarily want it in dark brown. So that is why I'm getting out my, we'll get a smaller block. I actually think I'm going to take my block like this. And I'm going to lay it right on my grid. Okay, so I've got lines kind of showing where keeping it nice and straight. I want my word to be really straight on my block. Let's try it again. Okay, so I'm getting the center of that E there and getting the H crossover line. So that's nice and straight on the block, just in case my sticker isn't identical. Because I do want, I'm going to use Daffodil Delight. I think I'm going to test it first of all on my I'm doing badly, and I shouldn't be. I had breakfast. I went out on a wonderful bike ride. It was perfect. See, that is nice. It's nice and strong. I'm going to like it, but I do want to get my lemon lolly over here to see if it's too much. Because I think it, you know, it doesn't match. It's not exactly the right color. And I could put Daffodil Delight with this, and maybe I will. Maybe I'll just cave and get Daffodil Delight. I've been using so much of it, I thought I'd save some of it. But at least I think this is Daffodil Delight. Yeah, it is. Let me get Lemon Lolly out, and we will see how dark it actually turns, because we do have our new one, Darling Duckling. I complained for so many years that we did not have any clear yellows, and now we've got two, although I would say this Lemon Lolly is really the only clear one. That's my own language, not anything official. I just like, see, it's not gonna, I mean, it's nice. It's nice, but it's not necessarily sunflower nice. It's pretty bright. Lemon Lolly, you're probably not even going to be used. But the thing is I don't think I have a Daffodil Delight ribbon anymore. I'm not sure. I might. Anyway. All right. So we've got that. I'm just kind of doing that to clean that off, because I'm going to go ahead and do Daffodil Delight on both of these. Okay. So we're going to put the word hope pretty close to the actual flower. So I want to fit my God Answers Prayer on the bottom because he does. And he doesn't always answer it the way I want him to. Ha ha. In fact, I'd say maybe he never does, almost. But is it better than what I asked? And I'm going to go ahead and say always. Now, I think I'm going to put this with Early Espresso rather than Daffodil Delight. I think this, I want to make sure it shows well. And I also don't want two Daffodil Delights down here. I need this to balance that Early Espresso out. That's pretty strong. It's a very strong color. And if I have just one strong one at the top and two weaker ones on the bottom, it's not gonna work as good. Yes, he always answers your prayer. It might not be the way you want, but don't think that right off, because the truth is that it is always a better answer than what I asked for. I might not live long enough to know it, but that's true. It's possible. Holding my breath. Good. It was straight. Perfect. But I think with this one now, do I want the stamped off version? I do. So we're going to stamp off and then get it on there pretty quick before it has a chance to dry out. Isn't that beautiful? So you can kind of scrunch it all in there really good. And there are other things you could put here too. Even this, your friends, don't let friends fight cancer alone, would look really nice right there. Now I'm not going to do the ribbon because I'm not doing a breast cancer type card. And I'm sure there are ribbons for everything, because there are ribbons for everything. And I shouldn't make that sound as, uncaring as it kind of does. But frankly, I get tired of marketing. Marketing is what I'm doing right now with this. And I'm marketing. It's not I'm not hiding the fact from you at all. Sometimes these kinds of things can be disguised as caring when it's actually marketing. All right. So yes, it'll always be better than what you prayed for, always, because that's what he does. He's better at everything than we are, and he's good at making things good. But it might not be what you asked for, and it also might not be really initially what you wanted, but I guarantee you, if you stick with him, you will see how it all worked out exactly right. Exactly right. And you might not find that out. I know I'm not going to find that out for a great many things until I see him past the pearly gates, as a sort of, even though I don't really believe in the pearly gates per se. But anyway, I do believe that in heaven and all that, and we'll be there, but I don't know what that's like. All right, so Daffodil Delight. I doubt if there are actually pearly gates, but I bet Revelation talks about pearly gates. So what do I know? I don't know anything. Daffodil Delight and Pineapple Punch. I wanted to use the Lemon Lolly, which is more of a match for Pineapple Punch. Okay, but this is pretty strong. So I thought I might be able to get by with Pineapple Punch. Now, I don't usually use markers, but with this kind of dark background, I thought I'd better just use markers, because my blending pens are going to kind of just blend and not be strong enough. Sometimes they're more like watercolors, so they don't necessarily give you like a super dark color. You do get lines though with these. So that's why we like alcohol pens, because if you're careful about where the lines are, you want that, but if you're not, so this is a very small image, so I can color, and then get darker and lines in it with a marker where I want it. You can do that with the blending pens too, it's just harder to do that. If I'm coloring a big area, which you wouldn't want to do with markers anyway, because you would use it up so fast, but if you did, you're going to be dissatisfied with it. It's okay with small areas, and then there brings me back to another discontinued item, because not only is Stampin' Up going to stop just doing cling stamps, they are at the same time going to stop doing Stampin' Write markers, because people use these to actually color right on the block. I could have used that technique and it would actually work pretty good, but I don't want to mix brown with yellow. I don't color blocks unless I absolutely have to, because it mixes your ink with your pen and suddenly your pen is ruined. So anyway. All right, I do want it to kind of match this, but we're going to go ahead and see what Daffodil Delight looks like and see if I can get by with Pineapple Punch, because it's a brighter orange. Actually, it looks about the same, doesn't it? And I know Daffodil Delight's going to match better, so that's what we're using. Bye-bye, Pineapple Punch. I'm glad I bought extras of you, though, because I really like you a lot. I did have to throw one away today because it was dried up. That might be my last Pineapple Punch, but I doubt it. I also think that's just like the cling stamps, but even more so, because our colors are related to the pads. They match. If you like Stampin' Write markers, you better get getting in there and buying them all right now. Buy them all up. I mean, seriously, that is going to be a major aftermarket seller. It's sad, but true. I'm going to use my little pins here too for that. Maybe I'll get Pineapple Punch out for you. You're so cute. I really do like this design. It's pretty. So let's see how this is going to work. So Daffodil Delight, we're going to just go real quick over the main petals. Okay, I'm going to lay it on the sides here so I get, you know, the lighter effect. I see my ink smudged a tiny bit there. Probably my finger stuck there, but that's okay. With this this is a very artistic stamp, so it's very forgiving. I can use this for my center too. Usually these are not white. These are usually a golden. So we're going to go like that. Dot, dot, dot. And we'll use it over here too. Okay, we'll get both of these cards done in no time at all. The nice thing about markers is that it doesn't bleed like into the paper. I don't have to worry about it. With my alcohol pens, I can't push hard at all. I have to be very, very pressure sensitive. And you can't leave it like this on, or it's just going to run and blend out, But with the markers, you can get, it's got like a nice chisel-y tip, and the other tip is even tighter. It's a bullet. This is a brush. The other one's a bullet. So it is easier to use in some ways, but I never use these, almost never. So it is not breaking my heart at all that they are gone and going. I am fine with it. I do not use these very often, and I have lots of things I can substitute with if I want a marker when they are gone. All right, so put that in there. I do really like it. It's so pretty. But looking at that again, my yellows, I think I'm going to use the lighter Pineapple Punch because I can go over it again if I don't like what I'm seeing, with this tiny little flower at the bottom. And now I can use my little bullet here because those are very tiny and very light colored. So that's nice. I'm not doing the leaf at all because I don't want any green in this. In fact, I'm going to just use my yellow right there. I don't need to color it, and I don't want any green. So there we go. This, since it's kind of smudged, I better take my blending pen that's a very light brown. I'm sure I've got one here somewhere. I can use my old cedar, hey, where's my pecan pie? That would work good. It's pretty light. Bronze is pretty light. The light, we called them flesh colors when they came out. Even crumb cake might work. So let's look. This is dark crumb cake. It's kind of greenish. We're going to do dot, 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 because I want these to be seeds. And then I think we'll get out some dark espresso. We don't have, I don't know that we have an espresso pen, but when I got my new, these are probably under the neutrals, but they are, they were numbered when I bought them. They were the flesh tones and they were all numbered, and now they just sell them as light, medium, and dark. So not nearly as many pens as I have. This was number 100. If you have that too, then that's what I'm using, because I know it'll be very dark, like there. Now it's dotted, so it doesn't look like I took my finger and smooshed it like I did. I like it. It's pretty, very pretty. All right, and I can see my words really well, but now we get to do the part where I can get the card together, and we will, I left plenty of border, so we'll start with this one first, and we're gonna cut it and see what we can do, because I am leaning towards Daffodil Delight rather than Lemon Lolly. So we're gonna take off, first of all, I'm gonna just take off 1/4 of an inch, and it looks like this side is bigger than the other. So I think we're fine to take off, from this design to the edge. This looks farther away from this edge than this. Now I could, if I wanted to be so careful, because I was, gonna sell this card or something, which I never do, but you could take your measurement and actually measure. I've got a 1/2 inch there, and I've got a 3/4 inch there. So there you go. It is actually going to be perfect. So I'm taking a 1/4 inch off there, and then I'm going to do the same down here. Okay, so now I've got enough of a border edge to do one color as a matte underneath, but I'm actually going to use 2 colors because I want both of these colors to be pulled in. Just doing early espresso looks good, but I do think doing 2 is going to look even better. But yeah, I don't think Lemon Lolly you're not going to do. Now if I do a very, 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 very narrow yellow, maybe. See, the thing is that I did not cut. Oh, I cut Lemon Lolly not. I'll have to go cut some Daffodil Delight because I'm not going to like that. So we're going to do Daffodil Delight, and we're going to do it on both, and I'll have to get a Daffodil Delight ribbon. I know I do have some over there. This is going to be the bigger card, or I mean the bottom mat. And I can just make this a little bit smaller. So we'll go ahead and do an 1/8 here. I better do the 1/8 on this side this time. Okay, so we're going to take off just an 1/8 and check it and look, maybe a tiny bit more. Okay, that's almost 1/4 there, but I think that's going to be fine. It's a little closer there than there, but that's okay. And then we're going to take off, not the 1/4. I'm going to see how that looks. That's pretty good. I don't really want to take any more off. All right, so now with my Daffodil Delight, we're going to cut this in half first. And then we're going to go 4 1/4, just because this is going to make it easier for me. And then we're going to take off, well, first of all, let's see how much of a border I need. That's nice. I like it. It's pretty. So that would look good with the early espresso, and then that either way is going to work, but I'm going to do an early espresso on the bottom. So looking at that, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually glue this right on here. Not glue it, but I'm going to snug it right on to the border size that I want. And then from there, I am going to cut this the size that I want. Now this is eliminating my need to measure. And I don't glue it on there and cut because frankly, whenever I've done that, I've been unhappy with what my result was because I still didn't get it perfect. And by not gluing it, I can just be a little more sure of my measurements here. All right, that is good. And I can go ahead and glue this because, wow, you were really tight down there, weren't you? I can glue this on because my ribbon's gonna wrap around the whole shebang. I don't need to wait. Okay, so we have covered a lot of ground, but you know, I have, again, just want to make sure you know that these cling stamps like this one are going to be gradually discontinued, but they will totally be discontinued in the next year. In January, I believe, was the announced date. And then the markers, it'll be the same thing, the Stampin' Write markers. So enjoy those while they last. Now, I think my card can be just a basic size, so I'm going to cut it 5.5. And if you want it to be dark, then you would just score it, but I'm going to just put it on a very vanilla base card. So I'm cutting it at 4.25. I think that's going to be big enough. Oh yeah. Isn't that lovely? Love it. Now, if you wanted to do, actually with my yellow, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the ribbon on this part, then mount it, and then we'll put this on the whole card, and I'm gonna do the same thing with this. So we've already got this. The only thing I need to do is make this a lot smaller. So kind of have the same issue here. So I'm gonna take off 1/4 inch there and 1/4 inch here, and then look at the design, and I do want to take a smidgen off here, so it's a little bit more than 1/8 inch there, and then I'm going to take off a little bit here too. Okay, just a bit. And now we can put it on this. Okay, to get the sides the correct. Maybe I'll do it reversed this time so we can see how that looks. Won't that be fun? So we'll reverse it, and we'll do this one with the early espresso, and then the Daffodil Delight underneath, or on the very bottom for the mat. And it'd be easier to write on a Daffodil Delight card too. So you could do a score line and not cut it like I am doing. You can do it with a dark border. You can make it really super skinny. It's it won't disappear quite as easily as those lighter colors. Now get that out of the way if you're doing what I'm doing. You don't want to snip it. And then we're going to put that right on here. You could, again, if you're going to be doing the embossing, this is the time to emboss before you do any gluing. And it looks really pretty. All right, very good. It is a beautiful day, so sunny. It's warm when the sun comes out, but it's also cloudy. The clouds are moving in and out. So this is, I suppose, would technically be considered a partly cloudy day, but mostly it's sunny with a lot of the day, though, with the clouds. So while I was watering, I was out there and sitting out on the deck and eating my breakfast this morning. And when I did my bike ride, most of it, I think, was when it was cloudy. So it was so comfortable, so nice. All right, now this is going to go here. Again, this is just 4.25 by 5.5. And I do really like that. Which one do you like best? I like this one best, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to use Daffodil Delight on this one for the ribbon. So I think I probably better do the ribbon for both of these before doing anything else. So let me clean up my space because it's quite messy. Now we're going to put that aside and clean up all of my little scraps. Anyway, so this is a really nice little stamp set. Does not have any dies, I don't think. I didn't get any, and so I'm confident it doesn't. I would have gotten them. And you don't need any. It's even though it is a clean one, it's super easy to stamp with, and so you don't need it. And I'm gonna run over to the corner here. Let me grab my I bet you I've got well, I know I have a Daffodil Delight twine, but I don't think I have, I don't think I have an Early Espresso twine. I do have a ribbon, but I don't have a twine. So we're gonna get, this is not Daffodil Delight, but it's close enough. So we're gonna use this twine for that, and it actually looks to me like I didn't even write, usually I write the color name on there, but it kind of looks almost so saffron-ish. I'm not sure if it is, but it does look like that. But definitely need Early Espresso, and I've got black would work really well too. I do have some. I don't have a lot. Wow, I'm in great need of Early Espresso. Like great need. I think I'm taking almost the last of my Early Espresso ribbon. Wow, I wonder if this is even, let me look and see, is this really, oh, it was called, it's actually, it is Early Espresso, but it was called a faux suede. It's not at all suede, is it? It's the faux suede one. It was called faux suede. Anyway, that's the only Early Espresso colored ribbon I've got, which is nuts. So we're going to go ahead and do this one, I believe, on here. Now, the one thing about my ribbon is that this is fairly big. So when you get a bow, you got to have room, you know, to see everything. And I have less space on this side than I did with this card. So I am going to do it on this side. And I don't really want to cover up my words, but if I covered up some of my flower, it would be fine. So we're going to go ahead and just do my little bow right here in the middle, and then I'll adjust it. Okay. Oh boy. Freddie, I need your bow tying skills. I never have mastered this craft. I'm so lazy. I should just, you know, work on it until I get it really good, and then it'd be easy for me, but I'm so lazy. I've never done it. I just like to fuss with it, and then I eventually get something that I don't mind. There we go. That's actually quite nice, especially for me. If you knew my bow tying skills, you'd know. I do think I'd like it to go the other way. Let's slide it and see what happens. I don't think there's room. There really isn't. Well, there's a solution for this. We'll just take it off and turn it around and try it on this side and see if that works. Because you can kind of bend your card and get it in there. It's going to be fine. All right, so now let's see if that looks better. Oh yeah, that's going to be better. Just need to slide it down. Oh yeah, that's much, much better. And then this is the part that I always flub because my scissors are always dull. Oh, I did it. I flubbed it. There we go. Nice and straight. I don't need it to be too long. I need it to go the other way though. This way. All right, very good. I love it. Very pretty. Now we'll do the base card in a minute, but I'm gonna get this, well, let's glue this on so it's gluing. Now, I do use other adhesives. I shouldn't tell you that, but I do at times. But if you want it to stick, make sure you're using a Tombow because the other ones that I use are fine when I'm doing paper to paper, but anything else is iffier. And certainly if I've got glitter or foil or I think even embossing, not the dry embossing, but like, you know, gold, any kind of inked embossing, I'm gonna always use my Tombow to seal because it seals it really good. So that ribbon's going to stay down nice. I don't have to sit here pressing and hoping that it'll stay nice. It does stay nice and flat. If you're not sure, get a clip the ends, and it'll work wonders. Okay. Now we're going to get this off, get the rest of my trash cleaned off. So the rest of my day today will be spent probably watching the birds and squirrels. It's going to be really nice. I got my sheets changed and washed. Growing up as a Seventh-day Adventist, I always liked to wash we did all of our house cleaning on Fridays before the sun went down. And it's a tradition I've kind of kept all through the years, even though I don't necessarily need it to be in accordance. I did this 3 times, okay, and then I'm going to make it extra long so I know I have plenty of space to work with for that bow. But I just like to have the nice clean house for the weekend because I, again, just got used to that, and I like it, and then that's what we do. And it was a little bit of an adjustment when Jeff retired because he was doing his laundry on Friday. It's like, well, how am I going to work this? I don't have to do my sheets. So I tried changing it. It was really frustrating to me because he wouldn't always do it then. And so finally I just told him, this is my tradition. I've always done that. And then he realized, I think, yeah, she always has done that. I never knew why. He never knew why. Okay, now I do like this, but I like the double bow rather than a single, especially if I'm doing more than one twine. So I'm going to have to sacrifice, the three to some degree, and I'm going to just double this over. It'll end up being, it'll be 2 instead of 3, because I don't think I can wrap this 3 times now that I've doubled it, but I still can get a double going, and then I've got still plenty to use with my bow, and more than enough, in fact, but I do like a double bow tie. It's pretty. So we'll do that. It's a little trickier trying to get it around the double and getting both and all that, but it's not too hard. Okay, I like twine. Twine's skinny enough for me. The other ones, when I do ribbons, that's why I'm not as good at it, is I actually prefer twine, or the 1/4, or no, is it 1/4 or 1/8? My little skinny ribbons, like the ones I did, this one and this one, I think those are 1/4 inches. I really do like those. I prefer them. So anyway, sometimes traditions are really good, if you just want to stick with a tradition. Now this also, I think I like twine because it lends itself better to a sloppy bow. That is so sloppy, but it doesn't really matter because I've got this one here and this one here, and they're not matched up. And let's try to work this and get it less sloppy, because I'm looking like I've got 3 loops when I actually only want 2 to match the other one. Okay, there we go. Gotcha. We got you now. Still not. No, not that one. This one I need out more to match the sides. All right, that's gonna do because I'm tired of messing with it now. Okay, so that one there, that one there, perfect. Perfect enough. And then I also don't have to worry about ends so much. And I do like the unraveled ends look. That always looks good too. All right, so keep to your traditions if they're good ones. If they're not, then you're going to have to compromise. And I was happy to compromise, but it just didn't work. So Jeff finally just said, I'll just do my laundry on Wednesdays. So that's what he does. He watches his sheets and he does his laundry on Wednesday. And yes, ladies, he does all of his own stuff. He makes all of his own food. I do clean the kitchen and do all the dishes and all of that. And sometimes I do make things once in a great while. And I make sure he eats his vegetables, you know. Now he's actually eating his vegetables on his own. I don't even have to, because that's pretty much my whole diet. In the evening, that's my diet. So he's been eating his vegetables, buying them on his own too, because when I was buying them, I guess I was overbuying and he didn't want to eat that many vegetables. Or those kind of vegetables, most likely. All right. There we go. I do really like this. So pretty. I know this card is going to be a really big encouragement to anybody who's been sick. I mean, seriously, some of the illnesses we've all had, even if they're not as serious as some, there's like, I do need resolve. I do need hope. I need courage. I've survived my cold or the flu. Some of the flu bugs we've had have been pretty bad. So today I heard that Missouri has an amoeba in the water, I guess. And I think I'd already heard that this was the case. So I don't know that this is new. That can give you a brain-eating disease. Now, I wasn't planning to swim in any of the fresh waters around here anyway, but now I definitely am not going to. And none of our family will be either. We do have some really nice paddle boats that we were planning to go on the lake with, and we will still be doing that, but this is not very vanilla. This looks like white. I thought I was getting out a very vanilla. No, it's not. It's white. Oh, wow. Sometimes vanilla doesn't look as vanilla-y as it should. I'm going to get out still a little bit off, but this one's more of a textured one. That's what I'm going to go with. So we're going to go, this is a portrait type card, not a landscape type card. That's what I call it. I don't know about anyone else. So I'm going to go ahead and do this at 4 1/4 the long way, and then score it at 5 1/2 on the short side. And these are my base cards. Now we've got our ribbon on, and we can put these on here like that. Isn't that pretty? And it's very easy to do too, because you've already gotten your ribbon taken care of and it's nice and flat. So I'm going to use my other adhesive, that being the case, because this one I can move around for a long time. So that's what I would be doing. And you can use whatever you want. A lot of people use tape. And tape for me is like super permanent. I know it's repositionable, but not for me, seemingly. So I don't use a lot of tape. And I have a bunch of tape, and I should probably be using it, because the problem is I'm not sure that tape always stays sticky all that long. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this card. This is so pretty. I really like this stamp set. It's good. It's only, I don't know how much it was, and it might be just a tiny bit more than a stamp set that would have this small number of stamps in it, because some of the money will be going, I'm sure, to, like I said, I'm sure to some kind of research or foundation that's related to cancer awareness, or, you know. So anyhow, but I don't know that. And I can't get the catalog out and look at it because you would see it, and you're not allowed to see it until September, unless you are one of my teammates, obviously, or if you had placed an order with me that was $100 or more, then you would be getting a catalog and you would have it already because I got those to everyone, so they'd be ready to order their holiday and autumn themed things as soon as they're available. Isn't that gorgeous? Love that. And really, you could make this like into any kind of a flower, and not, it wouldn't have to be a sunflower. I just really think that the sunflower fits this theme well, and Christ is our son, and he is the one that is answering our prayers, making sure that it could happen, because if it wasn't without Jesus, we wouldn't be having any hope at all. All righty. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Oh, it's nice to see you, Fran. I hope you're having a wonderful time today. I bet the weather's nice where you are now. It's probably hot not long ago, but I bet it's pretty good now. Right? Anyway, I will see you guys next week. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll be doing something. All right. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.